This is Sheffield on the return. And good coverage. He doesn't even make it to the 20.
The best wide receiver in college football.
Aiden O'Connell, the quarterback. Doru gets the carry as he makes his way to the 24-yard line. 6-yard run from Doru to open up the game. And now O'Connell will get it out into space to Doru. And this is really an extension of the running game that you'll see often today. But Zach Harrison is somebody they have to avoid as he comes up with the tackle. Fine defensive end for the Buckeyes.
And Coach Jeff Brom for Purdue, he knows that there's an advantage for the Buckeyes with their defensive line against Purdue's offensive line. They'll use the run game and the screens to slow down that pass rush.
3rd and 6, quickly to the outside. Back to return was Jack Ansel punt. JSN last week set the single game score record with 15 catches.
And just a shank punt there.
Going to quickly get the bubble out into space to Garrett Wilson. Wilson is able to spin for a few extra yards.
The slot wide receiver and Chris Olave form the deepest wide receiver core in the country.
Sprint left with tempo as they get the first down to Chris Olave. 2 quick completions already at the Purdue 25-yard line. Henderson goes ahead for 3 yards.
Taken this running back room and made it his own.
Henderson on 2nd and 7 only gets a yard that time.
He's going against a fairly experienced Purdue defense, especially along the line of scrimmage.
Stroud on 3rd and 6. Quick out, wide open as Wilson turns the corner, dives for the pylon, and it's a Buckeyes touchdown. Olave and Wilson and C.J. Stroud brings them right down the short field.
Tries to put it together. Another brilliant performance against a top-ranked team.
Glad to hear that she's doing well today. David Bell breaks free, and Bell.
It was a very difficult surgery and one that he's obviously very, very proud of his mom.
Horvath gets the carry, and he'll have a Purdue first down. She's so courageous. So, Kathy, that is from your son.
The key that makes all the different looks that they'll throw at the opposing defense makes them difficult.
2nd and 6, quickly to the outside, and Wright's able to shake free for a moment and has the first down.
Not the most consistent with his hands, but has gotten better and better each and every week.
First down throw, O'Connell, back shoulder and inside the 10 to David Bell, and it's, are they saying this is incomplete?
They are.
He lost it right at the end, didn't he? So they bring it back, a 2nd and 10, saying that was an incompletion. O'Connell, this isn't Jackson Anthrop, touchdown, Boilermakers. Buckeyes back deep. Freehill kicking away. Buka from the end zone.
So Tennessee already above the season average against that Bulldogs defense.
C.J. Stroud as he gets it out to Garrett Wilson.
This guy's release is ridiculous, and yet the ball still jumps out of his hand.
JSN coming around, and he finds space. Jackson Smith and Jigba. They're marking him out at the 21-yard line.
Man, he's got an excellent slot receiver in JSN.
Stroud.
If you look at just their yards per play, they average about 7.5 in the field.
Olave on the receiver screen. Oh, it's going to be a face mask.
Personal foul. Face mask. The penalties are close to half the distance to goal.
1st and goal, Buckeyes. Henderson. He is taken down. And 2nd and goal. Henderson probing that left side and getting a push. And he's in. Touchdown, Ohio State. Good looking scoring drive from Ohio State. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. 3 combined scoring drives that go 2 minutes and 10 seconds, 2:49, and the last one 1:47. Fair catch at the 18. O'Connell comes across the grain to.
You got to roll them out. You got to mix in some different things to give those pass rushers different looks.
2nd and 2, just goes underneath to Doru, and Doru weaving his way.
He almost laid a block.
Look at this alignment, this formation. Off center, as then it's incomplete. And try to go downfield. 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on the trick play.
The tight end at the end of the line of scrimmage. He can create some matchups in one-on-ones.
3rd and 10. Gets it complete for a first down to Milton Wright. Fumbled and recovered by the Buckeyes. Ohio State takes over at the 43-yard line. Look at Henderson. Travion Henderson turning on the Jets and gone. 57-yard touchdown for the sensational freshman. He has shown that game-breaking ability since week 1. He was in against Minnesota. O'Connell back out there at quarterback. Remember, he was not the quarterback with the turnover moments ago. They put.
But this is an important drive for the Boilermakers.
2nd and 5. O'Connell as he goes to David Bell, and that's a first down.
So this young man fights. He loves contact. He loves to play the game.
Horvath can't get out of the backfield.
Simplified things a little bit, allowing guys to use their athleticism.
2nd and 13. Bell can't find much at all. His second punt, struggled on his first go-round. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba back to return.
Really rely more on throwing the football as opposed to quarterback run like they have at times in the past. So there are some similarities, and that Ohio State team was excellent, obviously.
Zeke not available today. Henderson already 2 touchdowns today. Williams able to get an opening off that left side.
Exactly who Mayan Williams is. You reference, he's a downhill physical runner.
2nd and 2. Stroud. Great play call down and distance. 2nd and 2. Poised, intelligent young quarterback Wilson again as he tries to spin free and then is wrapped up.
Learning on the job. He said he's following up from some guys that have come before him that are so good. So he's been really impressed with the way he's handled himself here.
And here he is on 2nd and 6 connecting with Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. He only did that 15 times last week. And Katie, you continue that conversation with Ryan Day yesterday and talking about how C.J. Stroud has really developed his voice, and he's really not afraid to use it as a young leader on the team, that his confidence grows more and more.
And Ohio State can pour it on you if you make mistakes. Purdue so far 2 mistakes: bad punt, shanked punt, and a fumble.
And now Stroud to start the second quarter as he gets it incomplete. He was trying to connect with Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. Play clock running down. Timeout's going to be utilized by Ryan Day and the Buckeyes.
And certainly looks that way today.
Off the timeout as JSN rotates back. It's that comment post game. If it was my job to run the ball, I'd be a running back. I'd throw the ball for a living. 3rd and 6, and here he is throwing the ball shallow underneath and picking up the first down to Garrett Wilson.
I think he's playing great and continues to excel.
The empty look.
Wilson, the explosiveness, and then JSN, the outstanding feel for the slot.
Flag is down.
Offside. Defense number 58. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Of the NFL's defensive style, and they're using it there for Purdue as well.
Stroud on 2nd and 5. Look at how wide open JSN is. 20-yard touchdown reception. Ohio State offense. It's a live ball. It's got to be fielded. And finally it is by Jackson Anthrop. And Ohio State is claiming that they have it. And they do. Buckeyes football. This thing going to be served on a silver platter for Ohio State if it keeps going this way. Stroud looking for an option and off the fingers of Olave.
Actually ran back to his quarterback, said, man, keep throwing strikes. Love that interaction between the two freshmen.
Stroud on second down. Look at that effort. Garrett Wilson. Big time. No matter what they do today, they can't do wrong. Remember, he mishandled this before, and now Anthrop is going to pick it up. And all the way back at the 10-yard line, have to work his way out to the other side. That is Ohio State's next opponent, Kevin, Michigan State. Doru goes ahead, works the legs for 6 yards.
Countless mistakes that have led to this 28-point beatdown. That's exactly what it's been here in the first 20 minutes of this ball game. Muffed a kickoff. I mean, they've been their own worst enemy today.
After Anthrop had the 4-yard reception. O'Connell quickly to the outside of Durham, and it'll be 3rd and short.
I almost think it's 4-down territory at this point. I mean, if you're Purdue, the only way you're going to get back into this game is by starting to claw away at it. And you haven't stopped Ohio State, whether they backed up or if they take over at the 40-yard line. So I almost think if I'm Jeff Brom, I got 2 downs to get it here. So I have to stay aggressive like Katie just referenced.
Third and 4. Quick strike on the slant, and they do move the chains as David Bell gets the reception.
A good conversion there. David Bell working against one-on-one coverage. Denzel Burke, tough assignment for the true freshman.
There's Anthrop as they get it quickly to him, and he makes his way to midfield. 2nd and 7, play action. O'Connell, downfield strike, and complete to Milton Wright.
And that ball got knocked out quickly, but the officials right now having a conversation. Did he secure the catch?
This is a 24-yard completion. Short toss, Doru. Returns the corner to the 21-yard line. Tyreek Smith runs him down the line. Tyreek Smith, who's healthy again.
I mean, if you're going to try to erase a 4-touchdown deficit, you want to have an offense with some explosiveness like Purdue has.
2nd and 5, quick out, Bell again, and another 1st down. So longest drive.
And the big mistake that the offense made, he wasn't even on the field for it.
That was Jack Plummer who came in for that one play. Corner of the end zone. Wow! Touchdown Thompson! Great body control by Brock Thompson. Crowd felt maybe a push-off on Seven Banks, but it's a 12-yard touchdown catch. O'Connell to Brock Thompson.
Yeah, not much of a push-off. It didn't look like, of course, Seven Banks went flying, and the crowd here doesn't like it. Neither does Ryan Day. Didn't feel like he kind of extended his arm. And still, usually you see that arm go straight, and you see the push up around the shoulder pads. That's one that the officials usually call. Actually quite surprised that that didn't result in an offensive pass interference.
There's a flag down on the point after. So Purdue with a 10-play scoring drive there. Spanned 80 yards. O'Connell spreading it around.
The try is good. Personal foul, leverage. Number 92 of the defense. That penalty being forced on the succeeding kickoff. Timeout.
Football in 60 is presented by Rocket Mortgage. For the playbook on home loans, Rocket can.
There's the bubble to the outside to Jackson Smith and Jigba. And he is wrestled down beyond the 30-yard line by Mackey. Well, you want to see what a perfect day of offense looks like. Put up the drive chart for Ohio State in this first half. They have been magnificent from the start.
Just ridiculous. I mean, running it, throwing it, and of course they've had great field position as well.
And they've had this guy, the freshman Trevion Henderson. He's got a couple of touchdowns at the 57-yard line, tackled there by Marvin Grant.
And this is a spot too for Purdue. I mean, George Karlaftis, best player on your team, arguably. David Bell might have an argument for that, but your defensive end, your future first-round pick, he's got to be in a position to make a play. He's been quiet today, guessed wrong on the big Trevion Henderson touchdown run. And he's got to make a play at some point because this defense needs some life breathed into it.
I mentioned first-round pick coming up for him. Kuiper just came out with his new prospect list for the draft. He's got him number 21 overall. Stroud tiptoeing that edge is Chris Olave for a completion just short of midfield. Shift the tight ends over. Wilson takes the jet motion handoff. Garrett Wilson, here he goes. Goodbye and hello end zone.
15 yards per carry. You heard that correctly. Yes.
15 yards per rush. If you're wondering, by the way, was that technically a legal kick? Did they officiate that right? Absolutely they did. And there's the right way to do that.
That's 50 points per game, by the way, not per half.
O'Connell gets it out to Bell.
Expectations pretty high here in Columbus.
Anthrop trying to get to that edge, and he just gets past Ronnie Hickman.
Because of the super seniors, and as a result, when you're 18 or 19 playing against 23-year-olds, you're going to have some growing pains.
This is Bell working his way to midfield. Another first down for Purdue.
And they're a work in progress, but they're very happy with the ceiling and what they're potentially going to have down the road.
Horvath goes ahead for a good run inside the 40s.
They really lost that quarterback run game, so you got to have a guy in the backfield that can create, and Horvath is that guy.
2nd and 1, and the quick little toss to Garrett Miller, and that'll move the chains again. O'Connell to the outside. This is to Payne Durham. 2nd and 7. O'Connell. O'Connell to the end zone. He goes and overthrows Bell. O'Connell on 2nd down. Goes across the grain. O'Connell nearly intercepted. And they win against Michigan State. And he splits it here. Garrett Wilson back healthy and just tearing it up in this first half. 42-17. Ibuka on the return. Baylor gets Oklahoma today.
It just makes Baylor's performance last week against TCU even more just unbelievable.
Mayan Williams now. A good run. Bring the tight ends in. Ruckert and Rossi, and Williams joins Stroud in the backfield here on first down. And he continues to find big holes, and it's another first down. We have the umpire down on the field. Big Ten official Tim Owens is down on the field. I believe a Purdue player ran into him.
The umpire.
And now they make the rotation with the officials to cover for the umpire being out. As this is quickly out to Olave. Good job up front by Purdue as Williams was driven back by Karlaftis.
So Ohio State has been playing with his rhythm.
First tackle for loss of the day for Purdue. Flag is down as Stroud then throws it away.
Prior to the ball being snapped, offside, defense number 58. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 6. Unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 11. It's their first unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. Those penalties offset first down.
Williams trying to shake free in the backfield and just gets 2.5 yards.
Made Boilermakers look silly for some of the moves in the open field.
Here is Smith and Jig. Oh, what a move inside the 20. He is shifty, isn't he? He is so good in quick space, Greg.
And just to do it justice, let's do it in slow-mo. And that's where you press the L1 on the PlayStation remote. He jumps back inside.
Marvin Grant was trying to get a hold of him, and he came up with air.
Great move there by the talented slot receiver.
And you saw Wilson and JSN move on the top of your screen.
I'll start. Offense number 5. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Penalty marks the ball at the 20-yard line. First down, 15, Ohio State.
Thanks for 1st and 15. Stroud looking left, goes out there to JSN, and he was wrapped up by Cam Allen immediately.
Tackled there in the open field by Cam Allen. And if Purdue's going to have any hope of getting back in this game, they got to play like that throughout the second half.
Quick strike. Wilson was looking for another score. He was met up by Chris Jefferson. Garrett Wilson has 2 touchdown receptions, has the spectacular 51-yard touchdown run already today.
They are not happy with the officials, thinking that should have been pass interference. There's definitely some contact on the outside. It appeared that Chris Jefferson did get his head back just in time, but there's a lot of contact between him and Wilson.
30-yard attempt for Ruggles. He has 17 straight made, and you can make it 18. Fair catch inside the 15.
How about this?
Yeah, Purdue, and they've done this before, by the way. In fact, one of the defensive analysts for Ohio State, Ricky Brown, scouted this week and gave the heads up to Matt Barnes, saying, I went all the way back. I found them doing this against Western Kentucky before the half, and sure enough, Ricky Brown was correct. A whole lot of coach in some of those answers. That's about as close to perfect as you can get.
What I'm most encouraged by is how this offensive line has responded after a week, or really 2 weeks, of kind of up and down play. They've had their way with a Purdue front that's actually pretty dang good.
Henderson tries to spin forward.
About 7 or 8 plays that could have made the highlight. Just been so good in the first 30 minutes.
3rd and 3, just an easy pitch and catch. Stroud, plenty of time, going to go deep, got a man wide open and into the arms of Chris Olave. Flag is down, we'll check on that as Olave got open downfield.
Offense number 88. 10-yard penalty.
Tagging the tight end, Rucker, with holding. Walk it back to a 1st and 20. Stroud in cut, and Jackson Smith in Jigba. Stroud. Flag is down as he goes to Wilson. Stroud came in 6th nationally in passing yards per game. He's got 257 at this point.
Illegal motion. Offense number 5. 5-yard penalty. First down.
For a half second before he snapped the ball.
That was right into what Ryan Day said, right? Henderson spinning for a couple extra. We said, you listen to that halftime interview.
But the group that's needed to come on for them if they want to be a national championship contender has to be that O-line. They've been so much better today.
3rd down and 11. Stroud, shallow cross underneath as he goes to JSN.
Especially in particular the right side of that offensive line. You got Paris Johnson, Dewan Jones. The right side of that offensive line combined, those guys are a cool 685 pounds. I'm running it right behind them in a 4th and short situation.
4th and 1 with Stroud and Henderson. Going to pass on 4th and 1. And easily doing it with Wilson, who makes a move, stiff arms, and scores again. That is his 3rd touchdown catch. And this is a guy who Mel Kiper has very high. 4 total touchdowns for Wilson. 52-17, Ohio State. Let's go to the field with Katie George.
Well, guys, Jeff Brom knows a good football team when he sees one. When I caught up with him at half, he said it's simple. They're making plays, and we're not. But what he did say was the way his group responds in the second half will likely dictate the way that they finish this season. So he wants to see resiliency from this group, win or lose.
A lot that can be learned in situations like this.
Absolutely.
A lot you find out about yourself as a team.
100%. Just keep fighting. Get some momentum. I mean, if you don't win this one, get some momentum for next week.
Doru, good run, well blocked, and he goes for 11 yards. He's been dealing with an illness this year, so for King Doru, there's actually some days he can't practice at all.
It's nice to have him and Horvath back in the lineup, too, for this offense. And obviously, they're still a pass-first bunch. That's not going to change. But it certainly is nice to have a couple weapons at running back that you can use as well, including Jackson Anthrop.
And that is who they get it out to, as Anthrop patiently waits for the blocks and goes for 9 yards.
And as you look at what Purdue has left over, I mean, winning today would have been remarkable, but there's a very strong probability that they'll be heavily favored against Northwestern and then likely favored against Indiana as well. So Purdue in a position of strength, staring very much at an 8-4 season.
And there's a 1st down picked up by Doru. Listen, Greg, if you're Purdue and you can have an 8-4 season where you have 2 wins over teams that were ranked in the top 5 at the time.
Absolutely.
That's a very successful season.
It's a historical season for Purdue. I mean, this is the first time when we're looking at all the notes and everything. This is the first time since 1960 they've beaten 2 top 5 teams in the same season. I mean, there's so much to be proud of with this team.
McConnell gets it to Wright, and Wright wrestled after crossing midfield and thrown back, but he did get to the 49. And now getting a little chippy out there. Saw some John last time. And flag is thrown as Cameron Brown was involved.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 69. That's his first of the ball game. 15-yard penalty. It is 2nd down.
It's Greg Long, transfer from UTEP, and left tackle.
As you see right here, him throwing his guy off.
And he's trying to clean up the pile a bit and protect the receiver.
It's late, and it's one that you'll come back to and say, hey, we don't want to make unnecessary mistakes, because now you're behind the sticks on a dead ball foul. But you also at the same time within the locker room kind of like that you go and protect your guy, similar to what happened earlier in the game when Jackson Smith and Jigba got hit.
They faked the flea flicker, and then Horvath runs ahead. We've seen a little bit of everything from Jeff Brom, as we often do. We had his entire offensive line lined up. By the way, here comes Greg Long.
A legend now amongst some of the guys. on the internet, that's for sure.
3rd and 10 and the completion to TJ Sheffield. So listen, Katie set it up in her discussion with Jeff Brom about, hey, scoreboard is what it is. There's things still to be accomplished here, and that's what's happening on this drive with Aiden O'Connell.
Absolutely. And Aiden O'Connell is going to continue to fight, and this Purdue team will continue to fight. There's no doubt about that. And I think the biggest, most frustrating thing for Purdue is they can look at this and say, yeah, they're super dynamic, but there have been some self-inflicted mistakes that we made as well.
O'Connell wants the end zone, and he gets it with Milton Wright. 29-yard touchdown, Aiden O'Connell to Milton Wright.
And how about the throw? Heavy play action. You get the safeties to just set their feet for a half second, and you throw it up over the top. That time is Bryson Shaw, number 17, who got caught looking in the backfield, had to hesitate on the run action fake, and allows Milton Wright in behind him. Just an excellent throw and catch and great design for the Purdue offense.
And Milton Wright has shown plenty of fights. Milton Wright has 6 catches.
Football in 60 is presented by Rocket Mortgage. For the playbook on home loans, Rocket can.
The Boilermakers, and could they do it again? Yet they understood this would be the toughest challenge of this upset-seeking team. This is Ibuka on the return. And he maintains his footing. That's a heck of a return from Emeka Ibuka. Stroud back to pass again. Downfield again, looking for Olave. It's incomplete. He's targeted Olave 7 times today. The big target has been Garrett Wilson.
How about this?
Look at that bottom line.
In the history of Ohio State football, he is the first one with a day like he's had today. 3 receiving touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. That's amazing.
Well, just think about the superstars in the history of Ohio State. And it's Wilson who's the first player in the great history of Ohio State football. A place that's had 7 Heisman Trophy winners, right? To have 3 receiving touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown in a game.
It's amazing. I mean, the historical significance of that is remarkable, but the crazy thing is just kind of unsurprising. That's how good he is. I mean, he's just an absolute superstar.
3rd and 11 for C.J. Stroud, a blossoming star as a redshirt freshman. Goes on the shallow cross to Olave, who's just going to settle it in at the 46-yard line. Under 6.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter, and this is the first time that Jesse Mirko comes out to punt. The freshman from Perth, Australia. Didn't need to stay busy today, did he? Says bomber jackets that our friends in the U.S. Navy were wearing, and had a great conversation with those guys who did the flyover today. Jackson Anthrop with a good run here for 11 yards.
The F-15 is the Cadillac, the F-18 is the Corvette. And that's a very, very delicate subject if you tell them that you prefer one over the other.
This is Brock Thompson on the reception. Thompson had that sensational 12-yard touchdown catch earlier today.
Jeff Brom was, hey, we got to win the second half, and obviously the score here could give him the opportunity to potentially do that.
O'Connell trying to get it to David Bell. He was well covered that time.
Very well covered. Tell you what, I've been very impressed. It was maybe a bit of a question mark, but it's become a position of strength very quickly.
3rd down and 7. Strike right at the sticks to David Bell. David Bell came in leading the Big Ten with 8 catches per game, averaging over 125 receiving yards per game. Greg, you opened up the night by saying he'd be your #1 choice for the Biletnikoff. I assume, not listen, the numbers are great, what he's done is great, but the 2 big wins, that's when he was at his absolute best.
Completely. Totally took over the game against both Iowa and against Michigan State.
And O'Connell getting it to Sheffield.
And ironically enough, I mean, if you look at all 3 Ohio State wide receivers, I'll just give you an idea of what it looks like. I do vote for the Biletnikoff,
Sure.
and there are 10 spots that you have to submit when submitting your semifinalist. And all 3 Ohio State wide receivers were in the top 10, which is crazy to tell you just how good those guys are.
But it's fair and accurate. Horvath with the carry there. You look at the productivity of Smith and Jigba. You consider how good Wilson and Olave are. I mean, it's the best group of wide receivers in the country.
Yeah, no denying that. So this actually, if you want to coin it this, it's kind of the Biletnikoff showdown. As Wilson, of course, has had a remarkable day today with his 4 touchdowns.
Second and 5. O'Connell swings it to Horvath. Horvath squaring those shoulders and picking up yards after the catch before Burke had to run him out. And he goes for 19 yards on 2nd and 5.
And this is a nice job here by David Bell. Man coverage from Ohio State, so Burke's going to collapse with him. And as you see, the guy who's in coverage on Horvath, looked like it was Tommy Eichenberg, whoever was the linebacker, he kind of got hit, which led to the big play.
Horvath survives that first hit that came his way from Marcus Williamson.
Big piece, and will be down the stretch as it becomes more difficult to throw in what could be cold weather the next few weeks here in Big Ten country.
Milton Wright with his 7th catch of the afternoon. Cameron Brown with the tackle. That's a first down for Purdue. 339-yard day for Aiden O'Connell. This guy was so under-recruited, Greg. First committed to Division III Wheaton, then walked on at Purdue. He's been so productive this year. First and goal. And they're going to bring it in for a score. Did you just say, as Jackson Anthrop crosses the goal line, don't look now, bud? All of a sudden you look up at that scoreboard and there's Purdue. They just keep fighting and fighting. And they're piecing together a good third quarter.
And this is just a easy West Coast offense play. Q8 is what it's called. Sprint right option. You get a little rub, a little mesh, and what defenses like to call a little pick. And it springs Anthrop for the touchdown.
Fine line between the rub and the pick. And the bottom line is the touchdown there with Jackson Anthrop.
And this young man is so accurate and has been very poised.
This reminds you of what is set to come your way.
I'll be curious to see too for Virginia. Can they get off the field defensively?
That's right.
Because I stayed up as late as I could the other night, and I saw BYU go up and down the field against that Virginia defense. So hopefully that Virginia group has improved, and they're going to have to face a very good rushing attack for Notre Dame today.
Here's Wilson. Look at that move there. Flag comes in as he just gave one quick juke and was able to pick up extra yardage.
Forced out of bounds by Chris Jefferson. Penalty marker on the flag.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference as the pass was first touched behind the line of scrimmage. Result of the play, it's a first down.
And good job of cleaning that up by the officials. You can, of course, if the ball's thrown behind the line of scrimmage, you can initiate contact. So a good job there by the officials. And how about Wilson? I mean, just give him the ball. And you see what is usually a very good tackling defense in Purdue. Not the case against the talented ball carrier.
Henderson goes ahead for 4 yards there. Marvin Grant made the tackle.
Won't be a ton of changes next week, assuming all the results hold.
Olave turns the corner, gives a stiff arm and another that time against Mackey. Final half minute here of this third quarter. Third quarter saw Ohio State take the ball, come right out, get up 52-17, and then Aiden O'Connell and Purdue. As we heard Katie tell us, Jeff Brom just wanted to see them fight, see them play to the end, and they have. As O'Connell had right for the 29-yard touchdown, Anthrop moments ago. But this Ohio State team now over 500 yards of offense. 518 yards of offense through 3 quarters of football. (52-31) as we start the fourth quarter. And they started off the way it's been going all day, with a pitch and catch of Stroud to one of his talented receivers. This is Olave for a first down. So 9 possessions for Ohio State. Greg, 7 of them are touchdowns. They had 1 field goal, and the last drive ended in a punt. And that was halfway through the third quarter until they punted today.
So that's fairly impressive offensive output. Very efficient, really, in every facet offensively. There hasn't been anything they haven't been able to do today. It's been very impressive.
Stroud. And another completion. Good job hanging on to the ball with Chris Olave, who was met right away by Chris Jefferson. Ohio State is averaging almost 10 yards per play. They're at 9.8. But Purdue still had a good day offensively. They're at 7.4 right now.
Yeah, very much so. And Ohio State's offense, of course, good throw here. Good job hanging onto the football with the contact from Olave. I mean, this Purdue offense has done a really good job. They really have throughout the course of the game. But Ohio State's just at a whole nother level with their athleticism.
Henderson pushes it ahead and gets to the 10-yard line. Aiden O'Connell sitting back and watching.
Still need to be with Ohio State's defense. Doesn't need to be with their offense. They're going to be fine on this side of the ball.
Henderson, that'll be first and goal. Well, they made the change earlier this year when it came to the defensive play calling, as Matt Barnes took over those duties. But we talked about the fact that they've got a superb staff. And then, you know, a guy like Paul Rhodes, former Iowa State head coach, has been a defensive wizard his whole career as one of your analysts in the facility. I actually met up with Paul pregame, and he said you can see the incremental growth week after week, developing, everything tracking in the right direction as things continue to go. Far from where they were week 2, right, Greg, against Oregon?
No doubt about it.
First and goal, Stroud. Olave reaching out and adding to it. .357 yards of passing to C.J. Stroud.
Almost 5 feet in any direction around any of those 3 guys. They catch it. I mean, they're just so fantastic, so fun to watch.
Maceo kicks away. Fair catch at the 11-yard line. Katie?
Well, I asked Ryan Day, guys, yesterday what makes Chris Olave so good, and he said what he can do in his first 10 yards is incredible. He has great speed. He also can track a deep ball as good as anyone Ryan Day has ever been around. But he says he's got strong hands for a skinny guy. Day says he's wiry, strong, but above all else, he's a competitor. Olave has made a lot of clutch plays at Ohio State in rivalry games and in the CFP, but he has this uncanny ability to step up when his team needs him most. Look at him stretching out for that pylon. I love it.
Flip it back. Goes Purdue as he goes back into the hands of Horvath.
And I remember Urban Meyer pointing out Olave. I believe he wore number 18 at the time. And he said, look, this guy right here is going to be ridiculous.
Bell had the 9-yard reception. And now Doru with the run. He's going to be right at that line again. Javonte Jean-Baptiste with the tackle. He's one of those many players from the Big North Conference in New Jersey. He went to Bergen Catholic. And dot this Ohio State roster. So much talent comes out of that conference, the Big North.
You look at this group too up front. I mean, defensively, of course, here on a 4th and 1. No surprise that Purdue's going for it, but defensively, been pretty stout against the run today. Let's see if they can be again here on 4th and short.
Whistles blow pre-snap because of a timeout called by Ohio State.
Timeout, Ohio State.
As Ohio State called for the timeout, and they go with David Bell on the jet motion, and the All-America candidate or receiver carries the ball to move the chains for the Boilermakers.
Yeah, I love this guy, man. He is such a special playmaker, and that time I like that they went to this too, because Ohio State before the timeout had indicated that they were going to squeeze that defensive line. So hey, take a picture, see if you can't head to him around the edge. They roll a bunch of guys in the front 7 defensively, and that linebacker, Steele Chambers, has been a real nice surprise.
O'Connell on 2nd and 11 to David Bell.
O'Connell's pass complete to David Bell.
As you see David Bell getting awfully close now to 100 yards on the day.
He has 1,500-yard games in his career.
He's right at 100, make it 16. Out of 27 career games, he has 16 100-yard games. That's 60% of his games. He's going over 100 yards. It's pretty remarkable.
He's right at 100 yards right now. 3rd and 2. O'Connell, look at the time he's got. Wright had to come back to it.
Maybe you need to go out on the track and run some more. So Granny is pretty tough on her grandson, but her and her husband Greg are very proud of David, and they're watching from home as we speak.
It's part of the reason why he even went to Purdue. He wanted to stay within at least 90 minutes, he said. And she has some struggles with a medical condition.
16 out of 27 is ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
2nd and 8, looking for more. 3rd and 8. O'Connell, that is broken up.
From number 0.
4th down and 8. To the end zone. Incomplete, as Bell couldn't hold on to it. (59-31). 7:40 to play. Stroud. Going to probably see a lot of Mayan Williams down the stretch here. It'll be an uphill challenge without him against the Irish if he can't go. Williams on 2nd and 5. A good run by Mayan Williams. Tiptoes the sidelines there. Master Teague unavailable. Seen a hefty dose of Mayan Williams backing up Travion Henderson. And as Williams was for 20 yards there. He's got 76 on the day, Greg.
Yeah, and you got to like the left side of that offensive line just collapsing that hole. And Maya Williams, this is who he is. I mean, he's downhill, A-gap to A-gap type of runner. He's very powerful this part of the game, too. I mean, he's
banged up, missed a few games, only had a carry against Nebraska. But tonight getting extended work with the lopsided score. Julian Fleming with the reception.
We said it already today, but we've talked a lot about the wide receivers, understandably so. Ryan Day's got to be thrilled with this group today, but it should come as no surprise. The group that he's got to be most excited about is the offensive line, a group that struggled a little bit the last couple weeks, very inconsistent, didn't finish the way they needed to finish. Left some yards on the field too in the run game, but it was totally different today. It's been very good up front from right to left.
His father passed away when he was 13 years old, and they moved back to the States. And he's turned into one of the very best defensive line prospects in the country.
He hasn't had the impact in the game that a lot of us anticipated, and that's in large part due to the great game plan from Ryan Day and his offensive staff.
And he gets so much attention. Williams bounces it to the outside, took that little dip to the inside, and then got out for another first down. And now he's one of the very top NFL prospects heading into next year's draft. Although you can talk football with him, and then you can talk Greek food with him. Because, Katie, when we were on with him yesterday, I mean, how passionate was he when I turned him and said, all right, what do you miss? He says, I miss souvlaki, I miss the gyros, the lemonado veal, the muzo fish, the vermico little food trucks with the big sandwiches and the meats and cheeses.
He did not want to go back to the football conversation after we steered it in that direction, that's for sure.
Extra fight from Williams.
And at that point, him at being 13 years old, he said, I'm better than all these guys. I'm not playing water polo. It's like, wait, hang on a second.
Victory formation for Ohio State.
I'd take Ohio State. I'll just come out right now and say it. If I had to have a team right now to beat Georgia, it'd probably be Ohio State. They're the most consistent to me with the threats that they give you on the outside and potentially winning one-on-ones. I think Ohio State would certainly be at the top of that list. Them and Alabama are the two that I'd choose. If I had to take down the Georgia Bulldogs, I had one game to do it. Those would be the two teams I would consider.
How about that guy right there? Garrett Wilson, 3 receiving touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. It was a 51-yarder. He's just dynamic.